My child, stop what you're doing and listen, for what I am about to say cannot wait. Time is shifting, the earth is trembling, and the moments you once took for granted are drawing to a turning point. It's time we talk, before everything changes. You have felt it. The unease in your spirit, the stirring in the atmosphere, the sense that something unseen is approaching. I am calling you now, before the noise grows louder, before the world tilts into what it cannot undo. This is not a warning of fear, but an invitation of love. Come close, and hear me. My child, I have waited for this moment, not with impatience, but with love so deep it outlasted your wandering. I have watched you through every season, through every storm of confusion and ache of silence. I have seen the times when your heart longed for peace yet could not find where it had gone. Even in those moments when you felt furthest from me, when your prayers felt like stones thrown into an empty sky, I was closer than your breath, nearer than your pulse. I was there, not as a distant observer, but as one who never stopped holding you when you could no longer hold yourself. You see, I have never been far. The distance you felt was never mine. It was a space built by your fears, your distractions, your disappointments. But I am not angry with you for drifting. My love has never been built on your perfection. It rests entirely on my faithfulness. I have waited for you, not because I needed your attention to exist, but because I wanted your heart to find rest again in the place it was always meant to call home. In me. This moment, right here, is sacred. It is not by chance that you are hearing these words. It is not by coincidence that you paused long enough to listen. I orchestrated this moment long before you ever knew how to ask for it. I have been whispering through circumstances, through quiet nudges in your spirit, through the still ache in your soul that told you there must be more than this, more than surviving, more than pretending, more than holding together what feels like it's already unraveling. And there is more, beloved. But more is me. I want you to know that my waiting has never been passive. I have been speaking, guiding, drawing, even in your silence. Every unanswered question, every delayed promise, every moment of confusion, I have used them to call your heart deeper. I was never ignoring you. I was preparing you to hear differently. You wanted answers, but I wanted intimacy. You wanted a way out, but I wanted to bring you into the depth of my presence, where peace doesn't depend on understanding, and love doesn't depend on performance. You are not lost to me. Even the path that felt like failure has been a part of my design to lead you here, to this conversation. Because before everything changes, before the world around you shifts again, before the noise rises higher, I want to speak directly to your heart. I want you to remember how to listen. I want you to rediscover the sound of my voice, not through sermons, not through second-hand faith, but through the still, sacred place where your spirit meets mine. So listen closely, child. I am here. I have always been here. And now it is time we talk. You can feel it, can't you? The trembling underneath all that once felt certain. The world shifting. The familiar unraveling like thread pulled from a garment. You wake some mornings and sense it before your mind catches up. Something is changing. You feel it in the headlines, in the tone of voices, in the restlessness that hangs in the air like a storm waiting to break. You look at the things you once trusted to anchor you, relationships, systems, routines, and they no longer hold the same strength. But listen to me, child, what you are feeling is not chaos. It is the shaking that precedes awakening. The ground is not betraying you. It is breaking open to reveal what can no longer stay buried. I am allowing the shaking because I love you too much to let false security deceive you any longer. You have tried to build your stability upon things that move, people's opinions, fleeting successes, temporary comforts, and though they promised peace, they delivered only exhaustion. I am teaching you that true stability is not found in the earth beneath your feet, but in the presence within your soul. When everything else shifts, I remain unshaken. You were never meant to anchor yourself to what fades. You were meant to stand upon me. So, do not be alarmed when what once felt sure begins to tremble. This is not the end. It is the uncovering. I am peeling back the layers, exposing illusions, and drawing you into a foundation that cannot fail. The world around you is changing. Yes, but so are you. And that change is not your loss. It is your liberation. I am removing the false so you can rediscover the eternal. Do not mistake my movement for absence. The shaking you feel is the sound of my hand rearranging what must be renewed. So when you feel the world shifting beneath your feet, remember, it is not falling apart. It is falling into place. And in the midst of it all, I am holding you steady. Before the tide turns completely, before the noise swells beyond recognition, I want you to pause, to breathe, to hear me. You have been caught in the current of busyness, swept into the rush of days that blur together, and yet somewhere inside, you've known that something deeper was calling. That call is me. I am not demanding your perfection. I am desiring your presence. I want to speak with you now, not when things are calm, not when life is in order, but before everything changes, because if you wait until the tide has shifted, you will be reacting to the storm rather than walking with the one who commands it. You and I, we have unfinished conversations. There are words you have withheld, tears you have swallowed, hopes you have silenced. I have heard them all, the unspoken, the whispered, the buried. But now, I want you to speak freely. I want your honesty more than your eloquence. I am not looking for religious performance. I am longing for real communion. The world around you is about to move into a new rhythm, and I do not want you to drift with it unaware. I want to prepare your heart for what is ahead. Let us talk before the floodgates open, for when you know my voice in the stillness, you will recognize it in the storm. I am not speaking warnings of fear, but invitations of intimacy. You cannot face what is coming through knowledge alone. You will face it through relationship. So come close. Let this be our time, not rushed, not rehearsed, but real. Let me speak into the spaces you've closed off, and I will fill them with peace. Let me prepare you, not just to endure change, but to move through it with grace and strength. I am the one who stills the waters, and I am speaking now, before the tide turns, so you can walk upon what others will sink beneath. Listen, child, the conversation you begin with me now will carry you through what is to come. Do not be afraid, beloved. My words are not thunder meant to strike you down. They are light breaking through your sleep. I do not come to frighten you, I come to awaken you. The fear you sometimes feel when I draw near is not punishment. It is the trembling of your soul as it remembers its true home. You have been walking through days that numb the heart, routines that dull the spirit, and I am calling you to feel again. You have grown accustomed to surviving, but I have called you to live. To awaken is not always gentle. Sometimes it begins with the jolt that shakes off the comfort of dreams. But what waits beyond that awakening is life, vibrant, unshakable life. I have seen how weariness has crept into your bones, how the fog of constant striving has dulled your joy. You rise, you work, you love, you try, and yet something deep inside you whispers there must be more. That whisper is me, stirring your soul to remember that you were made for eternal things. I am awakening you to see beyond the visible, to feel beyond the shallow, to live beyond the temporary. The world will call this change. I call it resurrection. You have mistaken numbness for peace, but peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of me within it. I am awakening your senses to my nearness, so you no longer live as though I am distant. I am awakening your courage to trust again, even after disappointment. I am awakening your heart to hope again, even after delay. The time for slumber is over. The time for awakening has come. So do not fear the light that exposes what you've tried to hide. I do not reveal to shame you, I reveal to heal you. Let your eyes open, let your heart awaken, and let your spirit remember the sound of my voice. For what is coming will not destroy those who are awake, it will empower them. I am not calling you to panic, but to purpose. Wake, my beloved, for I am here, and this is only the beginning. You've been running for so long, haven't you? Trying to hold together a life that feels like it's constantly unraveling in your hands. You've told yourself, if I can just make it through this week, this month, this season, and yet every finish line keeps moving further away. You carry responsibilities that no one sees, questions you've never voiced, and pain that you've carefully hidden behind your smile. You've become so skilled at surviving that you've forgotten how to breathe. I have watched you, your mind spinning with plans, your heart tightening with worry, your spirit whispering beneath the weight of it all, I can't keep doing this. And I have not been silent in your struggle. I have been calling softly, waiting for the moment you would finally stop running long enough to realize you don't have to carry it alone. You've been chasing stability, trying to fix, manage, and control every piece of your world. But control is a burden that was never meant to rest upon your shoulders. You were designed for dependence, not domination, for surrender, not exhaustion. Every time you grasp tighter, I see your hands tremble with fear, fear of failure, fear of letting others down, fear of what might happen if you let go. But hear me, child, I am not asking you to lose everything. I am asking you to trust me with it. The things that fall apart in your grasp were never meant to be sustained by your strength. I know how tired you are, how often you lie awake rehearsing what you could have done differently, how you replay every moment trying to find where it all went wrong. But the truth is, this was never about your ability to hold it all together. It's about your willingness to hand it all to me. You are not failing. You are being freed. Every piece that slips from your hands is finding its way into mine. So slow down, beloved. Breathe again. The world will not collapse if you stop running. Let me be the one who holds you, and in doing so, you'll finally see that you were never meant to carry what I died to carry for you. I have heard every whisper, every word that barely escaped your lips, those quiet, desperate prayers when your strength was fading, and you wondered if I was even listening. You've looked up at ceilings that felt like walls and spoken into silences that seemed endless. Lord, where are you? You asked, not out of rebellion, but out of longing, longing to know that I was still near, that your faith wasn't in vain. You may not have heard my answer then, but I assure you, I was closer than your tears. I have always been with you, not watching from afar, but weeping with you, sitting beside you in the dark, breathing life into your spirit when you couldn't lift your own. My presence does not always announce itself with thunder or miracles. Sometimes it is the stillness that kept you from breaking, the peace that made no sense, the sudden calm that allowed you to face one more day. I was in the hands that reached out when you least expected help. I was in the word that came at just the right moment. I was the reason you didn't give up. You see, my silence has never been absence. It has been strategy. I was teaching you to listen deeper, to trust not in signs but in my unseen hand. You asked, where are you? And I answer, I am in every place your heart dared to hope again. I am in the in-between spaces where faith grows wild, not in the certainty of sight, but in the courage of trust. Even now, as you hear these words, I am leaning close, whispering your name, reminding you that you were never alone. I was never gone. You have prayed in whispers, but I have answered in presence, steady, invisible, unshakable. My child, you will understand one day that I was nearest when you felt me least. I have seen every tear, even the ones that never fell, the ones you blinked back before anyone could see. You thought no one noticed the way you straightened your shoulders after bad news, the way you smiled through pain, the way you said, "I'm fine," when your soul was breaking. But I noticed. I have counted every tear as treasure, not as weakness. You live in a world that teaches you to hide your breaking, to measure your worth by your strength. But I am not impressed by your pretending. I am moved by your honesty. Every tear that touched your cheek became a prayer, even when no words followed. I have seen you cry in quiet places, in cars, in showers, in late-night moments when no one was awake to hear the sound. And I have been there in every one of those moments, not as a distant watcher but as the one who wept with you. You think I only draw near in triumph, but I draw nearest in tenderness. I bend low where hearts bleed quietly. Those tears you considered shameful were sacred to me. They watered the soil where I am now planting new strength, new hope, new purpose. You did not cry in vain. Every tear has been turned into seed, and in time, what once was sorrow will bloom into joy. So don't hide from me when you feel broken. Bring me your tears, for they speak a language I understand without translation. I have never despised your weakness. It is where my power chooses to dwell. When you wiped away your tears to protect others from your pain, I reached out to wipe them myself. I am the God who gathers what others overlook. You are seen, you are known, and you are loved, not for your strength but for the heart that still beats through the ache. And I tell you, the season of unseen tears is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of healing that will one day make you radiant with the beauty of all you survived. The world is shifting, yes, but before you look outward at all that trembles, I want you to look within, because true transformation begins in the unseen places of the heart. You have prayed for revival, for renewal, for change in the world around you. Yet I tell you, the change I seek begins in you. The battles you see in nations, the divisions you see in people, the chaos that swirls in the air, they are only reflections of the storms within human hearts. And so, before I move through the earth in power, I move within my children in depth. You keep watching for external signs, but I am writing new words upon the walls of your soul. I am not first rebuilding cities. I am rebuilding character. I am not merely shaking governments. I am shaking false gods from hearts that have forgotten me. You have asked for peace, but peace does not begin with circumstances. It begins when your soul stops warring against my presence. There is no change in the world that can last if the hearts within it remain unchanged. So I begin here, in you, quietly, deeply, thoroughly. I'm cleansing what has been cluttered, softening what has grown hard, awakening what has slept beneath layers of disappointment. Do not resist this inward stirring. It is not punishment. It is preparation. I am teaching you how to carry light in dark times. You have asked me to move mountains, but I tell you, before I move what's around you, I will move what's within you. For the world you long to see transformed will only become new when the people in it learn to mirror my heart. And that begins, beloved, with your surrender. Let me change your reactions, your motives, your unseen thoughts. Let me replace your fear with faith, your bitterness with compassion, your anxiety with anchored hope. When I finish my work within you, you will become a reflection of the renewal you once prayed for. Then, even as the world shifts around you, you will not be shaken, because I will have built my kingdom inside you first. You often look for strength in what you can see, in stability, in certainty, in control, but true strength is forged in the unseen fire of the soul. What I build within you cannot be undone by the tremors of circumstance. Transformation that begins in the heart cannot be shaken by the noise of the world. I have been shaping you quietly, even when you thought nothing was happening. Every trial, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer, all of it had been sculpting something unbreakable within you. You looked at the surface and thought, I'm falling apart. But I was beneath the surface, whispering, no, you're being remade. My transformation does not happen in comfort. It happens in surrender. You've wanted me to calm the storm outside, but I've been calming the storm inside. Because when the world shakes, it's not those with the strongest defenses who stand. It's those with the deepest roots. I am planting you deeper than the reach of the storm. I am teaching you to draw your stability not from people, not from outcomes, but from my presence. This is why I tell you, don't rush the process. The breaking you feel is not destruction. It is construction. It's the holy undoing of everything that once chained you to fear. You have been asking for me to lift you higher, but to rise you must first be grounded in me. I am your stillness in chaos, your foundation in uncertainty. What I have started in you will outlast every shaking. The strength I am building is not loud. It is quiet, resilient, eternal. When everything external shifts, what I have placed inside you will remain, a peace that cannot be stolen, a faith that will not crumble, a love that cannot be extinguished. So when the shaking comes, do not fear it. Remember what is growing within you. For you are not being undone. You are being unshakably remade. You can feel it, can't you? The gathering tension, the invisible pressure in the atmosphere, not just around you, but deep within your spirit. You feel like something is cutting, something uncertain. You call it a storm, but I call it labor. What the world interprets as collapse is actually creation. These are the birth pains before renewal. You have prayed for newness, for awakening, for my kingdom to come, but birth is never gentle. It comes with groaning, stretching, and breaking that feels unbearable in the moment. Do not mistake the pain for abandonment. I am not absent in this storm. I am the one midwifing what is being born. The pressure you feel is the sound of old systems dying and new life emerging. The spiritual atmosphere of the world is shifting, and you, my beloved, are part of that divine upheaval. I am calling forth resilience in you because the days ahead will require hearts that can carry both grief and glory. The shaking of nations is not the end. It is the beginning of purification. I am allowing what cannot last to crumble so that what is eternal can stand. You see the thunderclouds and fear what they will bring, but I see the rain that will cleanse the earth. You feel the winds of uncertainty, but I see them as the breath of revival. Do not run from what feels uncomfortable. Lean into it with me. Let me steady your spirit when fear rises. Trust that I am not caught off guard by the turbulence. I am orchestrating it. For out of the storm will come clarity, out of the breaking will come birthing, and out of the chaos will come beauty you could not imagine. So when you sense the storms gathering, do not despair. Look deeper. Listen. Feel the pulse of new creation beneath the thunder. These are not death throes. They are the labor pains of something glorious being born. And you, child, are part of that renewal. Before I renew what surrounds you, I must first renew what sustains you. The inner life that breathes beneath your thoughts, your emotions, and your daily striving. You long for the world to change, to be healed, to awaken from its blindness, and yet you often overlook the sacred truth that the renewal I promise begins in the unseen places of your soul. You see the brokenness in the world and cry out for me to move, but I am already moving within you. My work begins at the very center of your being, where no eye can see and no hand can touch. I am rebuilding the places that have grown numb through disappointment and fear. I am restoring tenderness where you have grown guarded, reawakening trust where pain taught you to shut every door. The healing you desire for the earth is the same healing I am working within your heart. You have been praying for revival, but revival starts in the quiet chambers of a soul that says yes to me. Before I can bring new life through you, I must first breathe new life in you. This is not punishment, it is preparation. I am making you whole so that the world can glimpse my wholeness through your life. You will never carry peace into chaos until you let peace rule within your chaos. You will never bring hope to others until you allow hope to rebuild your ruins. So I am gently undoing what has numbed you, peeling away layers of fear that kept you distant from my love. I am not asking you to fix yourself. I am asking you to let me remake you. The renewal I bring is not temporary or surface deep. It is eternal. I do not patch brokenness. I transform it into beauty. I do not erase pain. I redeem it into purpose. So yield, beloved. Let me renew your sight, your faith, your joy. For before the world is renewed, I must renew you, because my restoration always begins with relationship, not revolution. This, right here, is where everything begins again, not in noise or spectacle, but in the quiet sacredness of this conversation between you and me. You may think this is just another moment, another reflection, another stirring in your heart, but it is not. This is holy ground. I have waited for you here, in the stillness where your distractions fade and your soul finally turns its face toward mine. You don't need to perform, to prove, to pretend. You only need to be present. All of heaven bends low when a heart becomes honest. This is not a small thing. It is eternity brushing against time. You may not realize it, but your spirit has been calling out for this kind of connection, the kind that heals without words, that breathes peace into exhaustion, that reminds you of who you really are. I am not speaking to your surface. I am speaking to your core. I am meeting you not in your perfection, but in your truth. You have come to me carrying questions, but what I offer you first is presence. You have come seeking answers, but I give you relationship. There are mysteries too deep for your mind to grasp yet, but your heart will understand what your intellect cannot. This conversation is not about solving your life. It's about sharing it with me. Every time you open your heart to listen, you make space for my voice to shape your future. You have prayed for direction, but direction flows naturally from communion. When you are with me, you will always know which way to go. So do not rush this sacred moment. The world clamors for urgency, but I move in intimacy. Let this conversation be your sanctuary. Here, you are not forgotten, not unseen, not unworthy. You are mine. And from this space between us, I will rebuild your world from the inside out. Do you know what moves me most, child? Not the eloquence of your prayers, not the polish of your worship, but the trembling honesty of your heart. I do not want your rehearsed words, the ones you think sound right to my ears. I want the raw truth that spills from the deepest part of you. Speak to me as you are, not as you think you should be. I already know every thought before it forms, every wound before it bleeds, every sigh before it escapes your lips. But there is healing power in your choosing to speak it to me anyway. When you come to me pretending, you distance yourself from the intimacy I desire. When you come honest, messy, broken, unguarded, that is when I draw nearest. I am not fragile. and your pain does not offend me. I am not disappointed by your struggle, nor surprised by your doubt. I am the God who sits with you in your wrestling and whispers, "You are still mine." Honesty is the language of the heart, and I understand it fluently. When you speak to me with truth, even truth soaked in tears, you create a space for transformation. You've been taught that faith means never questioning, but I say faith means bringing your questions to me and trusting that my love will not waver in the asking. I am not impressed by perfection. I am moved by authenticity. I would rather have one word of truth from your lips than 1,000 phrases you don't mean. You have nothing to hide that I have not already seen, and yet I still choose you, still want you, still love you without condition. So let your heart be honest before me. Tell me where it hurts. Tell me what you fear. Tell me what you don't understand. I can handle it all. You are safe here, completely, utterly safe. For this is what I desire above all else, not the performance of religion, but the purity of relationship. Honesty is not weakness, beloved. It is worship. And when you dare to bring me your truth, I will meet you there and begin to make all things new. You've buried so much beneath the surface, haven't you? Memories that sting, regrets that still echo, questions that have lingered in the shadows of your faith because you thought they were too heavy, too unholy, too complicated to bring to me. But, child, I see the weight of what you've hidden. I see how you've learned to smile while something inside you quietly aches. I see the moments when you almost let the truth slip, when the tears pressed against your eyelids but you swallowed them back and said, "I'm fine." You have buried your wounds because you feared what would happen if they were exposed. But I tell you now, the things you bury alive do not die. They grow in the dark. The pain you avoid begins to whisper in new ways, through anxiety, anger, fatigue, and silence. You've built walls around your heart to protect yourself, yet those walls have kept out the healing I long to give you. So, I am gently calling you to dig again, not to relive the pain, but to release it. You can bring me the memories that still sting, the why that has haunted your nights, the shame that you've tried to outgrow. There is nothing in your story that disqualifies you from my love. When I look at you, I do not see the brokenness you hide. I see the wholeness I am restoring. I want to meet you where the wounds began. I want to show you that what once brought you sorrow can become the very place I pour my grace. The things you've buried are not forgotten. They are waiting for resurrection. Let me uncover them with gentleness. I will not shame you, I will not condemn you, and I will not rush you. I will simply meet you there, where the pain began, where the trust was broken, where the hope grew cold, and I will breathe new life. You've been afraid that bringing these things to me will break you, but beloved, bringing them to me is what will finally set you free. Silence is a dangerous companion, my child. It masquerades as strength, but inside it breeds slow decay. You've learned to stay quiet, to lock away your heart's ache and convince yourself that ignoring it means it will fade. But what remains unspoken remains unhealed. The words you fear to say to me are the very ones that hold the key to your freedom. When you silence your pain, it doesn't disappear, it burrows deeper. It seeps into your thoughts, shaping the way you see yourself, the way you trust, the way you live. You tell yourself that it's better not to talk about it, that time will heal what honesty would only reopen. But I tell you, time can't heal what truth has not touched. My healing does not come through denial. It comes through exposure, through light shining where shadows have reigned. You've carried wounds that were never meant to be carried alone. You've lived as though survival was healing, but survival is only the beginning. Healing requires voice, your voice. Speak to me, even if the words come out trembling. Tell me where it hurts, where you stopped believing, where you stopped hoping. I already know every detail, but I want to hear it from you, because healing is not just about my knowing, it's about your release. When you finally speak what you've hidden, the grip of pain begins to weaken. You have no need to fear your own truth in my presence. I am not a harsh judge waiting to expose you. I am a loving Father waiting to embrace you. Your words are not burdens to me. They are bridges. Every confession, every admission, every cry of the heart builds a bridge between your pain and my restoration. What you leave in silence festers, but what you bring into my light is transformed. So, come out of the shadows. Let your honesty be your doorway to freedom. There is nothing you can tell me that will make me love you less, and everything you withhold only delays the healing I long to give. You think your weakness repels me, but it draws me closer. You think your struggles shock me, but I saw them long before they began. I am not ashamed of your weakness, beloved, I dwell in it. I am not surprised by your struggle. I redeem it. You spend so much time trying to hide the parts of yourself that feel unworthy, as though you must bring me perfection before you can bring me your presence. But I do not ask you to come clean. I ask you to come as you are. I am not startled by the storms inside you. I have walked through greater ones to reach you. I have seen the days when you thought you were beyond repair, the nights when your faith flickered to almost nothing. And even then, I never turned away. I do not measure you by your victories. I love you through your valleys. I am not keeping score of your mistakes. I am keeping watch over your healing. You live in a world that shames weakness and glorifies strength. But my kingdom is built upon the opposite. My power is made perfect in weakness. You think you have to be strong for me to love you, but the truth is, you only need to be real. I use the cracks in your heart as the very channels through which my grace flows. The broken pieces of your story become the mosaic of my mercy. When you fall, I do not flinch, I reach. When you weep, I do not turn away, I weep with you. I am not disgusted by your humanness. I am moved by it. I know every reason you've stumbled, every battle you fought in silence, every temptation you've resisted and every one you've lost. And still, I call you mine. You don't need to impress me. You only need to invite me. For I am not ashamed of your weakness, child. I am the one who will turn it into strength that no failure can undo. You have misunderstood surrender, my child. You have thought it meant losing, quitting, giving up the fight. But I tell you, true surrender is not the cry of the defeated. It is the song of the wise. It is not laying down in despair. It is placing everything in my hands and saying, I trust you to do what I cannot. You have tried to fix what only I can heal. You have gathered the shattered pieces of your heart, clutching them tightly, hoping you could mend them on your own. Yet every attempt leaves you weary because what is broken, my pain, cannot be rebuilt by pride. It must be surrendered. You see, I am not asking for surrender to control you. I am asking for surrender to free you. You think that holding on keeps you safe, but it is what's breaking you. When you finally release what you've been gripping, you will discover that my hands have been open the whole time, waiting to receive what your strength could not sustain. I know it feels risky to let go, to stop striving, to stop forcing, to stop pretending that you are fine, but surrender is not weakness. It is faith in motion. It is you saying, even when I do not understand, I will trust that your plan is still good. I will not crush what you hand to me. I will restore it. I will not discard what you release. I will redeem it. I cannot rebuild what you refuse to let go. So come, place the fragments in my palms. The same hands that shaped the stars know how to reshape your story. I am not asking for perfect trust. I am asking for willing trust, a trust that grows with every step you take toward me. For when you surrender, you do not lose control, you return it to the one who never lost it. You've carried the burden of self-repair for too long. You've told yourself, I'll be better, I'll do better, I'll change. But you've discovered that no amount of willpower can heal a wound that reaches into the soul. You've treated symptoms while the root still bleeds beneath the surface. You've tried to heal by striving, and that's why your heart feels tired. You've taken on responsibilities that belong to me, believing that fixing yourself makes you worthy of my love. But I did not ask you to be your own savior. I did not design you to be self-sufficient. I designed you to be dependent on my grace. You've looked in the mirror and seen your flaws as evidence of failure, but I see them as opportunities for my power to be revealed. Stop trying to perform your way into healing. Stop patching your heart with promises of next time I'll do better. Healing is not found in effort. It's found in encounter. You don't fix yourself to come to me. You come to me to be fixed. I am the mender of broken hearts, the restorer of lost identity, the healer of hidden pain. You've exhausted yourself trying to change what only I can transform. It's why peace keeps slipping through your fingers. But here's the truth. I am not waiting for you to perfect yourself. I am waiting for you to invite me in. Let me take the tools of striving from your weary hands. Let me remind you that grace is not earned, it's received. You cannot heal by self-improvement. You heal by surrendering to my love. You are not a project to me. You are a masterpiece being restored by the artist's own hand. Rest, beloved. You've done enough running, enough trying, enough fixing. Now, let me do what I have always longed to do, make you whole again. Lay it down, the constant pushing, the endless worrying, the desperate attempts to prove your worth. Lay it down, my child. You have been holding pain so long it has become a part of you, yet it was never meant to stay. You've gripped your wounds so tightly that you've mistaken them for identity. But I am here, whispering softly, you can let go now. You do not have to carry it anymore. Let me breathe peace where pain has lived too long. You've been running with clenched fists, your soul aching under the weight of trying to hold everything together. I see it. The pressure behind your smile, the fatigue behind your faith, the fear behind your plans. But peace cannot fill a heart that refuses to unclench. I am not asking you to be stronger. I am asking you to be still. I want to replace your striving with stillness, your anxiety with assurance, your fear with faith. You don't need to earn my peace. It is my gift to you. When you lay down striving, you make room for me to move. I do not dwell in chaos. I dwell in rest. And rest does not mean escape. It means trusting that even when you stop, I keep working. So, exhale the weight of the world. Inhale the breath of heaven. Let me teach you the rhythm of grace, where peace is not the reward for control, but the fruit of release. When you finally stop trying to hold everything together, you'll discover that I was holding you all along. This is what I want for you. Not a life of endless striving, but a heart that beats in sync with mine, at peace, whole, and free. Everything you know is shifting. Can you feel it? The things that once felt solid are trembling. The structures you lean on are cracking, and what once seemed unshakable is being redefined before your eyes. The systems you trusted, the values society applauded, even the comforts that once soothed you, all of it is changing. And yet, amid this swirling uncertainty, I remain the same. I am not moved by headlines or history, by economies or empires. I do not evolve with culture. I endure beyond it. My love does not adapt to trends. It is eternal. You live in a time where people trade truth for convenience and loyalty for comfort. But my word stands untouched by time. When the ground beneath you quakes, remember, I am your foundation. I am the unchanging one in a world addicted to change. You do not need to fear what shifts, because I do not shift. You do not need to cling to what fades, because I am the one who never fades. The same presence that carried you through your past is the same power sustaining your present and preparing your future. I know how uncertainty makes you anxious. You long for stability, for something that cannot be taken from you. I tell you this so you'll remember. I am that stability. You will watch people come and go, opportunities rise and fall, seasons begin and end. But I will not leave. I will not forget you. My constancy is not fragile. It is fierce. So when the world changes, let your eyes rest on me. I will remain your calm in chaos, your light in confusion, your anchor in the storm. Every earthly thing has a season, but I am the Lord of every season. When all else shifts, I will still be standing, still loving, still holding, still guiding you. You were never meant to build your identity on temporary things. You were made to rest in the eternal. And I, child, am eternal. Before the shaking comes, I am calling you deeper, not to hide, but to root yourself in me. The winds will rise, the noise will swell, and the world will tremble with confusion. But those who are planted in my presence will not be moved. You've built parts of your life on things that seemed stable, your plans, your security, your understanding, but storms always reveal what was truly strong. I do not warn you to scare you, I prepare you so that you will stand. Roots take time to grow, and this is the time for you to sink deeper into me, not later, not when everything shakes, but now. You cannot anchor yourself in the middle of a hurricane. You must do it in the calm, when I am whispering to your heart. Come to me before the storm, and I will make your spirit unshakable. You see, faith that only stands in peace is not yet faith. Faith that stands in chaos is. When the shaking begins, I do not want you merely surviving. I want you shining. I want your peace to become a testimony that my word is real. So let me strengthen your roots, through my truth, through prayer, through stillness in my presence. The deeper you grow in me, the less the surface storms can touch you. When the winds rise and others lose direction, your roots will hold you in stillness. You will bend, but you will not break. You will weep, but you will not wither. You will feel the storm, but you will remain standing because your foundation will be me, and I cannot be moved. So, beloved, do not fear the shaking. Prepare for it by going deeper. Root yourself in my promises, and when the winds roar, you will hear not fear, but my whisper saying, I am with you still. I know it hurts to lose what you love. I know the ache of watching something dear slip through your fingers, a relationship, a dream, a comfort, a familiar way of life. You've cried, asking me why, wondering if I've turned away. But listen closely, my child. I never remove anything to harm you. I only take away what hinders you from becoming who I made you to be. You've prayed for me to draw you closer, and sometimes that means I must loosen your grip on what stands between us. You see loss. I see liberation. You see emptiness. I see space being made for what's eternal. I never take without purpose. I never strip away without sowing something greater. When you cling to what I'm removing, you delay your own healing. Because that I know what must stay and what must go. I am not cruel, I am careful. When I prune, it is not to punish, but to prepare for fruit you cannot yet see. You may not understand now, but one day you'll thank me for every closed door that protected you, for every goodbye that led you back to me, for every ending that made space for new beginnings. You cannot receive with clenched hands. Open them. Let go. I am not asking you to forget. I am asking you to trust. You have cried over things I've taken, but if you could see what I am bringing, your tears would turn to praise. The removal is not rejection. It is redirection. I am guiding you from what was good to what is best. So don't cling to what I am removing, beloved. Let it fall into my hands. For what you lose in surrender, you will gain in presence, and what you release in faith, I will return to you in glory. When the world trembles and the illusions people have trusted begin to collapse, panic will ripple through hearts like wildfire. You will see fear in their eyes, hear desperation in their voices, and feel the weight of uncertainty pressing on the air itself. Everything that once promised security, wealth, systems, power, even human wisdom, will prove fragile. Yet, amid the noise, there will be a holy stillness for those who know my voice. You, my child, are called to live in that stillness. While others grasp at vanishing comforts, you will find rest in me. My voice will be your anchor when truth and deception blur together. My peace will hold you steady when others are tossed like waves. The world's illusions are crumbling not to destroy you, but to deliver you from false dependence. I am exposing what cannot save, so that you may rediscover what truly sustains. You have spent too long fearing what man can take, forgetting that no one can take what I give. Do not let the chaos confuse you. The shaking is not a sign of my absence. It is proof of my movement. When the world loses its way, I will whisper direction. When confusion grows loud, my peace will speak louder still. You will rest, not because life is calm, but because you will know the calm within me. Rest does not come from predictability. It comes from presence. So do not fix your eyes on what falls apart. Fix them on the one who remains. Listen carefully, for my voice will cut through the static of fear like light through fog. Those who chase the noise will collapse beneath it, but those who walk with me will stand as beacons of peace. I am not asking you to be strong. I am asking you to stay close. Rest is not found in resistance. It is found in relationship. When panic floods the earth, you will carry my peace, not because you avoided the storm, but because you learned to rest within it. The days to come will not merely test your endurance, they will test your heart. Not in cruelty, but in clarity. You will see what you truly trust, whom you truly listen to, and how deeply you truly love. For when light and darkness both grow stronger, neutrality will no longer be possible. You cannot walk with divided loyalties when the path ahead demands full devotion. You say you trust me, but trust is proven not in calm seasons. It is proven when obedience costs you comfort. You say you listen to me, but listening is revealed not in how much you hear, but in how much you follow when my instructions contradict your logic. You say you love me, but love is tested not by words, but by how you treat others when the world teaches you to harden your heart. These are not punishments, child. These are refinements. I am purifying hearts to reflect mine, stripping away the imitation so that what remains is authentic faith. The days ahead will divide appearance from essence, religion from relationship, and convenience from conviction. I will not allow shallow roots to masquerade as strength, for the storms will reveal what was planted deeply and what was merely surface. But do not be afraid. These tests are not designed to destroy you, but to deepen you. When you stand firm in love, when you choose faith over fear, when you follow even when it costs you, you will shine brighter than before. I will strengthen those who trust me, guide those who listen, and embrace those who love. You do not need to fear being tested, you only need to remain faithful. And as you do, your heart will prove that it belongs wholly to me, unshaken and pure in a world that is losing its way. Before the world grows louder, I am calling you to quiet. Before distractions multiply, I am calling you to intimacy. Before the flood of voices rises, I am calling you to listen for mine. This is not the hour to be casual about your faith. It is the hour to be anchored in it. The foundation I am building and you cannot be constructed in chaos. It must be built in stillness. I am teaching you to know me so deeply that when confusion fills the air, you will not be swayed by it. You've built parts of your life on activity, but now I am calling you into authenticity. I want more than your service. I want your heart. The world will soon demand your attention, but I want your affection. I want you to know me so well that my presence becomes your natural home, not your occasional refuge. Do not wait until the noise rises to seek silence, for by then your heart will struggle to hear. Learn now, in this sacred quiet, to recognize the rhythm of my voice. The intimacy we cultivate today will sustain you tomorrow. When others chase signs, strategies, and solutions, you will carry something far greater, my peace. You cannot withstand the chaos of the coming days by information. Only intimacy will preserve you. And intimacy is not found through striving. It is found through surrender. Come away with me. Turn off the noise. Let me rebuild your attention so your spirit can hear again. The louder the world grows, the more precious will be the stillness between us. I am preparing you not just to survive, but to carry my calm into the storm. You will not be lost in the noise if your foundation is built in my whisper. So come closer now, before the clamor rises. Learn my heartbeat in the quiet, and when the world roars, you will still walk in perfect peace, because you will walk in me. You have spent so much of your life planning, haven't you? Planning your next move, planning your safety, planning how to make everything align just right. But in this next season, your plans will not be enough. You will need my presence more than your strategies, more than your reasoning, more than the comfort of knowing what comes next. You see, plans give you control, but my presence gives you peace. And peace will sustain you when plans fall apart. I am not asking you to abandon wisdom or preparation. I am asking you to anchor both in me. Because when your plans shift, my presence will still hold you steady. The future may not unfold the way you expect, but I have gone before you. I see every turn you cannot see. I am the one who already stands in your tomorrow, waiting for you to arrive. Your greatest security does not come from what you can predict. It comes from who walks beside you when you cannot. I know you want clarity, but I give you companionship instead, because my nearness will do what clarity cannot. It will calm your heart when logic fails you. Every time you have leaned on your own plans, you've discovered how fragile they are. One unexpected change, one unforeseen event, and the illusion of control crumbles. But when you walk in my presence, you no longer need to know every step, because you walk with the one who never loses his way. Stop worrying about perfect plans. Start pursuing perfect peace. My presence will open doors no strategy could ever unlock. My presence will guard you from mistakes that ambition could have led you into. My presence will be your compass when directions seem blurred. Do not measure success by how well your plans unfold. Measure it by how closely you remain with me. For it is not your plan that determines your destiny. It is my presence that carries you into it. You have so many opinions, child. Opinions shaped by what you've seen, what you've read, what you felt. The world around you feeds this hunger to be right, to have a say, to be heard. But I am calling you to something higher. You will need my wisdom more than your opinions. For the days ahead will blur the lines between truth and deception, and intellect alone will not be enough to discern what is real. Opinions are born from perspective. Wisdom is born from presence. Opinions echo the voices of the world. Wisdom flows from the whisper of heaven. You have relied on what makes sense to you, but my ways are not your ways, and my thoughts rise higher than your understanding. I do not ask you to silence your mind. I ask you to surrender it. For a surrendered mind becomes a vessel for divine clarity. The wisdom I give is not reactionary. It is rooted in love, not fear. It seeks peace, not power. It does not rush to speak, it waits to listen. My wisdom will lead you to humility when pride tempts you to argue. It will teach you to discern without condemning, to speak truth with compassion, to see through confusion without losing tenderness. The world will clamor for signs, for outrage, for noise, but I am calling you to stillness, where wisdom begins. If you choose opinion over wisdom, you will join the chorus of confusion. But if you choose my wisdom, you will become a voice of calm in a world of chaos. I am not asking you to think less. I am asking you to think with me. For my spirit will reveal things to your heart that no intellect could ever uncover. So, pause before you speak. Seek me before you decide. My wisdom will not only show you what is right, it will make you right within. Opinions divide, but wisdom unites. And in the days to come, those who walk in my wisdom will carry light where others spread fire. I am not calling you to fear, my child. I am calling you to readiness. There is a difference. Fear reacts, readiness prepares. Fear paralyzes, readiness positions. Fear imagines the worst, readiness expects my best. You sense the tension in the air, the changes in the world, the shaking that makes even the strong uneasy. But I do not want you to shrink in dread. I want you to stand in awareness. To be ready is not to hoard or hide. It is to listen, to trust, to stay close. I am not revealing what is coming so that you'll tremble, but so that you will lean on me. Readiness means your heart stays awake, not anxious. It means your spirit remains alert to my leading. I want you to move through this season not with panic, but with purpose. I am aligning events, arranging encounters, and stirring destinies, and those who walk in readiness will recognize my movement when others only see chaos. Readiness means you know where your hope rests, so when the world's illusions fall, you will not. It means you have trained your ears to hear my voice over every other sound. I am not looking for fearful hearts, I am looking for faithful ones. Do not let the shadows of tomorrow steal the light of today. I am with you now, and I will be with you then. So rise, not in alarm, but in assurance. The times will grow darker, yes, but my light within you will shine brighter. Readiness does not mean escape. It means endurance with joy. It means walking with steady peace when others lose direction. Fear makes you hide from the storm. Readiness teaches you to walk through it beside me. So prepare your heart, not your panic. Prepare your faith, not your defenses. I am not calling you to fear what is coming. I am preparing you to flourish through it. My child, in the noise of the age, you must learn to know my voice, not just recognize it, but trust it above all others. The world is growing loud with opinions, prophecies, predictions, and fears, and many voices will claim to speak for truth. Yet only one voice will bring peace instead of panic, conviction instead of confusion, clarity instead of chaos, and that voice is mine. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper beneath it. My voice will not flatter your pride or feed your fear. It will call you back to love, to faith, to stillness. Discernment is not learned by analyzing the world's noise. It is developed by resting in my presence until your heart knows the sound of my truth. You will not find me in the frenzy, but in the quiet. I am teaching you not just to hear words, but to perceive the heart from which they come. You will know my voice by its fruit. It brings humility, not arrogance. Peace, not pressure. Conviction, not condemnation. My words will never drive you into fear or frenzy. They will always draw you into trust. You will hear many things in the coming days. Voices that twist my truth. Voices that carry half-light. Voices that seem spiritual but lead to despair. That is why I call you to deeper intimacy, so that when confusion rises, your spirit will already know how to find my frequency. My sheep hear my voice because they have walked closely enough to know its tone. So walk with me daily, not just when you need direction, but even when you think you already know the way. Let my spirit train your ears to recognize the rhythm of heaven. Do not rush to react. Pause to discern. I am not a God of chaos, and my wisdom will never contradict my word. So, when the world grows loud and your mind feels torn, come back to this truth. I will never compete with the noise. I will call you into peace. You will discern me not by volume, but by presence, for my voice does not simply inform, it transforms. You have been taught to find peace in control, but I want to teach you to find peace in surrender. When everything trembles, when life shifts beneath your feet and the future feels like mist, that is when you will learn what true rest is. Rest is not the absence of trouble, it is the presence of trust. I am not calling you to escape the storm, but to rest in me while the waves roar. You've tried to rest through distraction, but that only numbs the noise. True rest begins when you place your heart in my hands and say, even here, I will trust you. I know how your mind spins at night, rehearsing what could go wrong, preparing for every possible outcome. But I am already in your tomorrow, and I am not anxious. You will not find peace by understanding everything. You will find peace by knowing me in everything. When you rest in me, I take what burdens you and exchange it for strength you cannot earn. You think rest is an activity, but it is actually deep alignment, your heart synchronized with mine. Even creation understands this rhythm. The oceans pause at my command. The stars move at my pace. Why then do you think I would let your life spin out of control without purpose? I am teaching you to breathe again, to trust again, to be still and remember that you are not holding the universe together. I am. You will not lose yourself in stillness. You will find yourself there. Rest in me when the world trembles, and you will realize that even trembling cannot touch what I have secured inside you. You will stand in the shaking because you will have learned to live from the stillness of my heart. When the world gives way and familiar ground disappears, I will be the place you stand. You have searched for safety in people, in systems, in the comfort of predictability, but nothing in this world was built to hold the weight of eternity. That is why everything else feels temporary, because it is. But I am your forever place. I am your refuge when fear presses in, your anchor when the winds rise, your home when you feel displaced. You were never meant to find peace in the shifting sands of circumstance. You were meant to find it in me. When all else changes, I remain. You can return to me again and again, and I will not close the door. My presence is not a shelter for the worthy. It is a refuge for the weary. You don't have to earn your way in, you only have to come. I am the quiet beneath the noise, the calm beneath the storm, the light beneath the shadow. I am the only place where your heart can truly rest. When fear whispers that you are alone, remember that I am your dwelling place. When your soul aches to belong, know that you already do. My arms are your walls. My faithfulness is your roof. My love is your foundation. You will not be uprooted, because I am the soil in which your spirit grows. And when the world outside becomes too heavy, come back inside, to me. Fear, you will not just survive. You will be restored. I am your unshakable place, not because life will be easy, but because I will hold you through everything that is not. Let this truth settle deep within you. No matter what changes, no matter what you lose, no matter how far you wander, I will still be home. So many are chasing signs, scanning the skies for wonders, searching prophecies for clues, hoping to find certainty in what tomorrow might bring. But I am calling you to something far greater, communion with me. Signs can guide you for a moment, but only relationship will sustain you for a lifetime. Predictions can stir curiosity, but only intimacy can anchor peace. You do not need to chase what I already dwell within you to give. The world will always hunger for revelation without relationship, miracles without surrender, and spectacle without stillness. But you, my child, must learn to choose differently. I am not hidden in distant signs. I am present in quiet moments where your heart turns toward mine. The greatest revelation you could ever receive is not what is coming. It is who I am. And I am with you here, now. The enemy will always tempt you to seek knowledge apart from communion, to trade presence for prediction, to fill your mind while your spirit starves. But the truth is this: no amount of knowing can replace the power of simply being with me. You've looked for me in movements, in manifestations, in the extraordinary, but I've been waiting in the ordinary, in your morning breath, in the stillness between tasks, in the moments when your heart ached for meaning. I do not need you to chase signs. I need you to sit with me. For when you know my heart, you will no longer panic about the future, because you will know that every tomorrow already rests in my hands. The ones who walk closest to me don't need constant signs. They carry my presence, and that presence becomes their compass. So, come closer. Don't run after what fades when you can dwell with what is eternal. I do not want you to interpret me. I want you to experience me. When you abide in me, you will no longer live guessing at my will. You will live walking in it. Communion is not for the perfect. He is for the willing. And if you choose me over mystery, you will discover that in my presence, every mystery finds peace. When you know me deeply, not through words about me, but through the reality of my presence, you will find that fear loses its power. The world may shake, but you will not. The noise may rise, but peace will speak louder within you. This is the power of intimacy. It transforms panic into purpose and confusion into calm. When you know who I am, you stop reacting to what happens. You start responding from who you've become in me. Peace will no longer be something you chase. It will be something you carry. You have mistaken peace for the absence of trouble, but peace is the presence of trust. The days ahead may unsettle many, but they will not unsettle those who have learned to rest in my heart. You cannot be shaken when your foundation is unmovable. You will face changes, yes, but you will walk through them with confidence because your spirit will know my voice above the chaos. Others will wonder how you stay calm when the world grows restless. They won't understand that your peace is not natural. It's supernatural. It is not a mindset. It's a relationship. The storms outside can't drown what's alive within. My peace does not depend on circumstances aligning. It flows from the assurance that I am still in control, still good, still God. You will not need to know every answer to walk confidently. You will only need to know me. That knowledge, not head knowledge but heart knowing, will be your guide, your compass, your strength. When fear comes knocking, peace will answer the door. When uncertainty whispers, my voice will rise above it, steady and sure. I am not preparing you to avoid the shaking. I am preparing you to outlast it. So come closer, not to escape what's coming, but to be filled with the peace that makes you unshakable. I am raising up a people who will not live from panic but from presence, and you, beloved, are part of that people. The world will measure strength by control, but I measure it by communion. While many hearts will be ruled by fear, yours will be ruled by peace. I am shaping you to be a carrier of my calm in an age of unrest. You will walk through storms not untouched but unbroken. You will not mirror the panic of the hour because you will live from a deeper reality, the reality of my presence dwelling within you. You will not simply speak of hope, you will embody it. The light I place in you will not flicker with the winds of the world. It will shine brighter because of them. I am preparing you not to retreat, but to radiate. You are part of a remnant, a people who walk not by reaction, but by revelation. You will not depend on the headlines for direction. You will move by the whisper of my spirit. I am building within you a stability that cannot be learned, only lived. And when the world cries out in confusion, your peace will become a message louder than any sermon. You will carry my presence like a torch into dark places, not shouting condemnation, but carrying compassion. Do not underestimate the quiet strength that comes from walking closely with me. I am not asking you to be famous, but to be faithful. The world does not need louder voices. It needs steadier hearts. You are being prepared for such a time as this, not to run from the noise, but to bring my stillness into it. So, do not fear what is rising around you. Focus on what I am raising within you. I am preparing a people, a generation of hearts anchored in heaven. And when panic spreads like wildfire, you will stand as living proof that my peace is stronger than any storm. You have lived surrounded by noise for so long that silence now feels strange. The constant hum of distraction has become the rhythm of the world. Voices, screens, opinions, schedules, fears, all competing for your attention, all convincing you that to slow down is to fall behind. But I am calling you out of that noise, out of the clutter that numbs your spirit, away from the idols that promise relief but never deliver. You cannot hear my whisper while chasing the world's volume. Every distraction that steals you stillness, steals you strength. The enemy does not always come as evil, sometimes he comes as pity. You think you are moving forward, but often you are just circling the same noise. I did not design your soul to survive on fragments of peace. I designed it to dwell in fullness, in me. The idols you cling to are subtle, the need to be noticed, the craving to control, the fear of missing what others have. But those idols drain what I long to fill. I am not jealous of your time because I need it. I am jealous because distractions steal the intimacy your heart was made for. I am not asking you to abandon life. I am asking you to reorder it. Step away from the noise long enough to hear yourself breathe, and you will find me there. When you turn down the volume of the world, you will discover that my voice had been speaking all along, waiting for your attention. I am calling you away from fear that disguises itself as caution, from entertainment that numbs instead of nourishes, from opinions that drown your discernment. My presence is not found in the rush. It's found in the rhythm of quiet trust. Come out of the crowd, not because you are better, but because you are chosen. I want your focus, not your fragments. I am not a God of chaos, but of communion. Let me silence the noise around you so I can awaken the song within you. You remember what it felt like when your heart was lighter, your prayers unfiltered, and your love for me unmeasured. There was a time when you didn't complicate faith with performance or burden it with expectation. You simply loved me. You walked with me, talked with me, laughed with me, trusted me. But somewhere along the way, the simplicity was lost in the striving. You started measuring yourself by what you do for me instead of how you walk with me. You began to serve out of duty instead of delight. I miss the sound of your unguarded voice, the way you once whispered my name, not out of fear, but out of joy. I am calling you back to that place, back to the garden of intimacy where love is unforced, where faith is a friendship, where your heart beats in rhythm with mine. You've tried to build great things for me, but I want you to simply be with me. Before you were a worker in my vineyard, you were a beloved in my arms. Come back to that first love, not to nostalgia, but to renewal. I am not asking you to relive the past. I am inviting you to rediscover the purity of connection that time and trial tried to steal. You will find me again, not in busyness but in stillness, not in doing but in being. When you return to that first love, everything else will find its rightful place, your purpose, your calling, your relationships, your peace. You were never meant to oppress me, you were meant to know me. So come, walk with me again in the cool of the day. Let the wind fall off. Let the noise fade away. Let love be simple again. You were not created to live in fear, to carry anxiety like a second skin, or to wake each day already weary from invisible battles. Anxiety is a thief. It steals moments that were meant to be filled with my presence. But you, beloved, were never designed for that kind of life. I created you for fellowship, for peace, for communion. You were made to walk with me freely, not in panic, but in partnership. The human heart was not built to bear the burdens it now carries. It was built to rest in me. Anxiety enters when trust exits. Worry begins where intimacy fades. You keep trying to manage anxiety by controlling your circumstances. But peace does not come from control. It comes from connection. You cannot think your way out of fear. You can only rest your way into faith. My presence is the antidote to your anxiety. When you hear my heart, your heartbeat slows. When you remember who I am, the shadows lose their power. You've been listening too long to the voices of what if, the chorus of fear that imagines every possible failure. But I am teaching you to listen to I am. I am your stability, your sanity, your safety. You are not meant to survive the day through self-effort. You are meant to thrive through divine fellowship. When you walk closely with me, peace becomes natural, not forced. You will begin to reflect what you gaze upon. And as you behold me, calm will replace chaos, joy will replace heaviness, and my glory will shine through you effortlessly. You were never created to be crushed by worry. You were created to carry my wonder. Anxiety fades in the light of intimacy. So lean in. Let go of the noise in your mind and rest in the rhythm of my heart. There you will remember who you are, not a vessel of fear, but a reflection of glory. The shaking you see, the chaos that fills the earth, is not just destruction. It is awakening. What looks like the end to many is the beginning of something holy, something new. The world will tremble as foundations crumble, as false securities collapse. But for those who walk with me, it will not be the season of despair. It will be the season of revelation. You will see what others cannot see, because your eyes will not be fixed on the storm, but on the one who stands above it. I am awakening hearts that have slept through comfort, stirring faith that has grown dull through distraction. The shaking is not to ruin, but to realign. It is to separate what is temporal from what is eternal, what is built by man from what is established by me. Do not fear the trembling of nations. Fear the silence of hearts that refuse to awaken. For in the midst of shaking, I am calling my people to arise, to see beyond what headlines declare, to sense what heaven is birthing. The greatest revival will not be televised or predicted. It will begin quietly, in surrendered hearts that burn with my fire. You are living in the tension of endings and beginnings, but those who walk closely with me will see through the breaking to the beauty beyond. I will raise up voices of love in the midst of hate, truth in the midst of deception, and hope in the midst of despair. You will see the darkness, yes, but you will also see my glory spread like dawn across the horizon. The world will call it chaos, but you will call it awakening. So do not run from what shakes, walk through it with me. For every shaking is an invitation to deeper faith, and every awakening begins with hearts that refuse to fear. You are not watching the end of hope, you are watching the dawn of transformation. You've looked around and thought, surely it's too late. The world has gone too far. But I tell you, I am not done. Not with you, not with this generation, not with the story I am still writing. What you see as breaking is actually my preparation. I am not destroying, I am refining. I am stripping away the false, not to punish, but to purify. You see decay. I see the soil being turned for new growth. Do not confuse chaos with abandonment. I am still here, working beneath the surface, weaving redemption through every thread of despair. I have not given up on this generation. I am awakening it. You called them most, but I called them so. You see a rebellion. I see a cry for something real, something true, something eternal. I am raising a remnant who will not bow to fear or fame, who will walk in courage, purity, and power, not by their strength, but by my spirit. You are part of that movement. Do not believe the lie that you are too old, too late, or too broken to be used. The fire I placed in you long ago is still burning beneath the ashes. I am stirring it again. The breaking you felt in your own life, the disappointments, the unanswered prayers, the shaking of what you thought would last, it was never to destroy you. It was to prepare you. I am shaping you into someone who can carry my presence in a world desperate for truth. You are not forgotten in my plan. You are being forwarded for it. So lift your eyes. This is not the end. What feels like collapse is clearing the ground for construction. What seems like loss is making room for life. I am not done. I am only beginning. I am raising a chorus of voices, not of fear but of faith, not of division but of light. Voices that carry compassion in their tone and conviction in their truth. And I want yours among them. I am not asking you to shout louder than the world. I am asking you to speak with a different spirit. The world has grown weary of noise. What it needs now is authenticity. I am calling you to be a voice of my heart, one that speaks not from opinion, but from presence. You do not need to have every answer. You only need to carry my heart. When others speak to wound, you will speak to heal. When others speak to oppress, you will speak to inspire. The power of your voice will not come from eloquence, but from intimacy, from the time you spent listening to me in the quiet. I am calling you to rise, not as an echo of culture, but as a sound from heaven. You will not carry the bitterness of debate. You will carry the fragrance of grace. Your words will pierce darkness, not because they are loud, but because they are filled with light. So do not silence yourself out of fear of rejection. Speak with humility, but also with holy boldness. The world does not need more critics. It needs carriers of compassion. And I have chosen you to be one. I will anoint your words, steady your heart, and guide your tongue. You will speak hope where despair reigns, truth where confusion thrives, and peace where fear has rooted deep. Do not underestimate the influence of a single voice surrendered to me. I am raising an army of light, and every voice matters, including yours. The time has come to speak not as the world speaks, but as one who knows the heartbeat of heaven. So open your mouth, beloved, and let my light speak through you. Amen.